We're going to be working on our 1,000 reps sunrise challenge. Today, along with it, we're going to be talking about goal setting as well. So over the next 35 minutes, if you're ready to do this with me, we're going to use 15-pound weights. I'm using 15. You can use 5, you can use 2, you can use water bottles. If you're to that point where you're a starter and you just need to use a water bottle to do everything in the workout, you're more than welcome to. I can just tell you that if you can do this every morning with me, which I know you can, you will see tremendous results. You can do the research online, do whatever you want to do for high reps, low weight. Everybody's got an opinion on it. What counts is what works for you. If high weight, low reps works best for you when you're 53 years old, then I say go for it. If low weight, high reps works, go for it. We're all built a little bit different. What we're going to do is I'm going to do what I do, and if you like it, follow along. If not, go somewhere else. So we do 5 sets in each, countdown. So there's 3 different areas or 5 sets, and then we do the last 100, whatever you want to work on with your body. So I always start with the arms. So if you got your weights, you're ready to go, let's do it. Let's try not to rock when we're doing it. So first thing I wanted to talk about is setting goals. It's a little hard to count while you're doing this. So I want you to consider, what do you really want in life? What do you really want? What are you after? If you ask somebody outside of yourself, go up to them today and ask them, what are your goals? What do you want? More than likely, they're not going to be able to tell you. People, as Zig Ziglar would say, are wondering generalities instead of meaningful specifics. Okay, first 50 with the arms. So we're talking about goal setting today. Like I said, if you go up to somebody today and you ask them, say, what are your goals? What do you want out of life? 99.9% of the people are not going to be able to tell you. So I turn this around and ask you, if I came up to you and said, what do you want out of life? What are your goals? Would you be able to tell me? You got to get specific in what you want. What do you want? I want you to think about that today during this workout. Especially if you're watching it for the future and it's recorded, I want you to really think about, if you need to pause it and write something down, if you need a piece of paper, but just think about what are some areas in the 3 areas of life, in your health, in your relationships, and in your career. What do you want? If you could have anything that you wanted to, I want you to be able to define that and think about it. What do you want out of life? What are your goals? What are your goals for fitness, for your health? What are your goals for your relationships? And what are your goals for your career? So if you're just joining in, we are doing sets of 50. For 1,000 reps over the next 40 minutes. 1,000 reps. We're just using lightweight. I'm using 15 pounds right now. I've done this with 20, even 25 pounds. But I'm just doing with the 15. I like to move it around a bit. As I said, I'm 53 years old. I'd say, whatever you say about what do you want out of life, sometimes the worst things that happen to you can end up being the best. Now, I've had 5 back surgeries, 2 back fusions, and those were some of the darkest days. But then when I look back and connect those dots, say, my God, those are some of the best things that happened to me. that showed me if we can't see the lows, then we can't see the highs in life. So back to the goal setting. What do you want out of life? What do you want? That's step one. So I want you to think about that when we're doing the next set here. Let's pick one thing for your health, for your career, for your relationships. What do you want? And then we're going to cycle through, and I'm going to show you exactly what I do to be able to get to that final result. The result, not the goal, the result. Is the result, it's of the process. Let's do some bent over rows. What do you want? Pretend like you can have anything on this planet, because you can if you believe it. So what do you want out of life? Okay, so once you decide that, then I want you to think about what you're trying to replace, where you're at right now. Let's say your health. Let's say you want to get fit at any age. I want you to think about being what it feels like to be completely fat, sick, out of shape, nobody likes you, you're at the lowest point. I want you to feel that in your gut, in your heart, your mind, all over. I want you to feel about how bad that feels. How bad does that feel to have that? I want you to really get into it on our next set right here. I want you to really think about the hate, the amount of hate that you have against the thing that you want. So, like I said, if you want to be fit, you want to be thin, you want to be healthy, what does it feel like to be the exact opposite way? And I want you to really ingrain that, because most people that are teaching you to set goals, they skip this part. But we have to know what we're going away from so we can go towards something. And the hate, the anger, the sadness, those are going to be drivers moving us forward. So we're doing the chest next. I like to do a little bit heavier with these ones, so I keep 20 pounds. Usually I would do 30, but I'm using 15s and then 20s for all the chest stuff, just because 15 is way too light for me with these reps. So let's get the chest in. So I said, if you're new with me, we're doing sets, 5 different body parts. We're doing 50 reps for each one of those sets per body part. We're going through that 3 times. We'll get 900, and then we're going to be hitting that last 100 on the body part that you want. So you pick the weights. I mean, it might not seem like a lot at 15 pounds, but when you're getting 1,000 reps in, I'm telling you, you will feel so amazing after you're done. You're going to feel tired, but you're also just knowing that you got through this and you pushed it so hard. It is going to be exhilarating for you, especially doing it early in the morning. The rest of your day, you've accomplished more than 90% of the population. Got to think about it. Next thing we're going to do is the abs with the crunches. And if you need to take a break in between, take a little break. Okay, I like to go about 30-second rest, but you can pause it if you're watching from the future. Do whatever, as long as you get those 1,000 in. Come on, push it hard. "50 crunches." If you can't do all 50 at a time, take a little break. The main thing is getting the 50. I don't like more than a 30-second break in between because we're also working on our cardiovascular system. But if you were somebody new, I talked about this yesterday. Let's say you are incredibly out of shape and you're trying the new fat loss drug, Ozempic. I want to hear from you. I want you to do this program. Give me 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I'm so worried about people. I know a lot that are taking that, and it seems like a miracle drug, but everybody's in the honeymoon phase of this stuff. At some point in time, you're going to have to go off it, so you need to build a fit, healthy lifestyle, and this is step one right here. It's not going to hurt your joints. It's not going to be stressful on your body. It's just going to be burning calories, getting those muscles ready. And let's just say you want to go into something different. You want to go into a little heavier weights at some point. Do this for 6 weeks. And if you are a regular bodybuilder, lifter, athlete, whatever, do 40 pounds on these. Let's see how tough you are if you could do 40 pounds. You could do reps of 50 with all this stuff with a higher weight, then go for it. Let's see what you got. Let's do our calf raises. I know that this works because a year ago I was wearing a size 36 waist after my back surgeries. Now I'm down to a 32. My belt has shrunk about this much over that time period. And you just burn calories like crazy. And I'm not telling you to live a lifestyle like some of these guys will tell you. You got to do the fasting. You got to go on a special diet. You got to do these things. I'm talking to the people out there, the guys, maybe the women that have a family, have kids, that don't have time to make special meals all the time. They don't have time to, they can't cook separate things. You got to be able to eat. You can't be crazy either. You can't be so into this. What happens is people see that big elephant and they say, can't do it. So if you're big, you see that big elephant, you're like, I can't take this on. We got to break it down slowly into small little objectives and tasks so you can achieve your overall goal. So we just did our first 300 right there. Now we're going to start into the second one. Starting with arms again. We're going to do tricep kickbacks. Oh, that one freaking burns right there. So if you're just watching now, we're doing sets of reps of 50, lightweight. I'm using 15s right now. If you're just starting, you can use 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 2 pounds. Or if you're starting brand new, water bottles. Water bottles with the flies, everything with water bottles. As long as you get through the 1,000 reps, that's all that really matters. And we're going to shred you down over the next 6 weeks. I purposely have a little bit here just because I wanted to do this program and show you exactly what you can do over the course of even a month. This is only day 2, but I'm telling you, by October, if you follow me on this, you are going to lose a tremendous amount of weight. And if I'm really looking to help those people that are on fat loss drug, Ozempic or something, because you got to change your lifestyle. Step 1 is to move your ass. You got to get moving. And this is the easiest way to do it. High reps, very low weight. I don't care if you're using egg cartons, whatever it takes. You know, sometimes you got to do whatever it takes to be able to get things done. Okay. So next thing, we got our fly row for the back. 50 of these guys. So when I'm talking about lifestyle changes, I'm not talking about that crazy stuff where they say you can't eat certain things, you can't drink. I don't eat any gluten at all. No gluten, which means if there was one thing I could tell people to cut out completely in your diet, it'd be bread. Get rid of bread. To me, bread is the worst thing for you. If I eat bread, I could feel it, but with luckily, well, not luckily, but about 3 years ago, I developed a pretty serious gluten allergy, just cramps. And so if you're having a lot of cramping and stomach problems and rumbling and all those issues, think about gluten, because once you get older, for some reason, it seems to affect. But that is one thing. But hey, when I talk about not changing your life and going nuts, you can still have a drink here or there. I mean, I drink hard cider or something like that because I don't drink beer or get a gluten-free beer. If you want to have one a night or two, I'm telling you, one of the biggest killers of men is stress. It's stress. So if it takes you a drink at nighttime to relax yourself, to get rid of some of that stress, the effects of the stress are going to way outweigh the impact of a drink or two of wine or whatever at nighttime, just to kind of relax you. So we're gonna go down, we're gonna do the flies, the chest. Like I said, I use a little bit heavier weight for this just because my chest is a little stronger. So you decide what you want to do. It's up to you. It doesn't seem like it's that hard. Go ahead and join in. Or join me tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Watch the recordings. You may say, wow, 15 pounds, that's nothing. 10 pounds, that's nothing. I could do that all day long. Well, let's see it. We live in a results-oriented world where talk, especially now with AI, talk is so cheap, you can't even give it away. Everybody seems to have an opinion, but they're not willing to do the work. So we're talking about goal setting today. First of all, what do you want? You got to understand what you want. Second of all, what do you hate? I want you to find that kind of that alter ego of that. If it's fitness we're working on right now, you want to be fit, you want to be in shape, you want to be able to see your abs at some point. What do you hate? I hate being fat. I hate not being able to do things with my family. I hate going on vacation, not being able to take that hike. I want you to feel that. Feel how bad that is. Feel like a freaking loser. You're just an absolute loser in that situation. Take that pain and allow it to move away from that pain into where we want. So after you know what you want, you know what your pain is, I want you to imagine that you've already got those things. Think about right now, close your eyes and think, man, I have that body. How would it feel? And this is very hard to do because if you knew what it was like already, you would never want to not be there. The more fit I get, the more I say, holy hell, why didn't I do this whenever I was younger? Because it impacts every aspect of your life. Everyone, your relationship, your career, your just every aspect of your life is better. Because here's the key. It doesn't matter what other people think of you. It only matters what you think of you. If you don't like yourself, you will not allow other people to like you. You won't be able to cognitively believe that other people will like you. How could you? If you're a no good person and you can't like yourself or love yourself, then how would you expect other people to love you? You think it's all a lie. You think they're playing a game with you. But if you love yourself, man, you can do anything in the world. Okay? So next we're going to do flutter kicks, and then we're going to do squats. 50. If you have to take a break, take a break. So if you're watching this as well, you can see I'm not one of these crazy bodybuilders online. I am, and I'm not going to say I'm average because I'm definitely not average. Neither are you. You should never believe that you're just average because average is for losers. You want to be more than that. But I'm a dad, 3 kids, married 30 years. You know, I want to be able to stick around. So if you can relate to that. Also, think about your fitness level and think about if you have kids, think about their fitness level. Are they mirroring you? You know, look at a fat kid and you're probably going to go home and see a fat parent. Look at a fat parent, probably going to find a fat kid, at least at some point in time. It's just the same thing. You find a parent a person that smokes, you're about 9 out of 10 times their parents smoke too. Same thing with drugs. education, find parents that have college degrees that are educated, the kids are going to be following that same path. And I'm not saying, even though I teach college, I am definitely not saying college is for everybody, because AI is going to eliminate, in my opinion, half the white collar jobs. Blue collar things are where it's at now. But if you're going to be a blue collar worker, you're going to get out there, you're going to have to be physically fit to be able to do this. So start when you're young, start now. I mean, my gosh, some of these air conditioning, heating, builder guys, there's no reason why you can't make over $100,000 a year. But you got to be fit, you got to be healthy. You know, you can't be a fat slob and walking up a ladder. Come on, you got to do better than that. Let's get some squats in here. Now these ones, we're doing 50. If you can't do all 50 at a time, then take a little break. If you're not used to these will really burn if you're not used to doing these. Even when we're not using any weights. I'm a little bit different. I don't know if you are. My wife thinks I'm crazy, but I love pain. So the more it hurts, it's almost like it motivates me more, because I know that that's what's separating me from other people and you from other people, because people will quit. And as you keep going, 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So if you want to be successful, look for the hardest things in life, because 9 out of 10 people won't be there. Look around in life. The longest lines are stacked up behind the easiest things. And if 100 people are going towards the goal in this messed up society now, this trophies for everybody generation, if you have an award, if the first place gets $100, there's 100 people, they all put a buck in, and everybody wins, all you get is your buck back. I mean, freaking think about it. We need winners and losers, and kids need to learn how to lose, because this whole thing with kids not being allowed to lose, it's bullshit, because whenever they get out into the world and they're in their 20s or 30s, and all of a sudden the real world life hits them, they don't know how to cope with it. That's why a lot of them are living in the basement with their parents, because they didn't learn to lose whenever they were young. That can change, and it's got to change with you, because you have to be able to make that decision in your life. Stop blaming your parents. Stop blaming everybody. Stop blaming the world, the president. I don't know why you'd be blaming the president. But on to the next one right now. We're going to go back to arms. We're in our third one. So it was 600 reps so far. Now we're downhill for the last 400. Next one. On the board, curls. This is why I want you to do light weights, because I don't want you flinging all around like this, doing heavier weights at this time period, because you're going to start getting tired. Try to keep your body as straight as you can. And just do the best you can. That's all screw everybody else, what they think. All that matters is what you think. And all these things you're doing alone in your basement right now, or wherever you're at, nobody else is around, this is what it takes. If you see a rich, successful person, they didn't do that out in public. They did it behind the scenes. They did it in the late nights. They did it in the early mornings. They did this kind of stuff. You see somebody walking around that's fit, healthy, abs, looks great. They weren't born with that. They had to work. I appreciate anybody that's sticking around here, because you're obviously a winner. I see there's one person who's been on there for a while. I appreciate that. It tells me a lot about people. People like to just scroll through and watch other people live their dreams, vacations, working out, doing whatever. You know, I just got back from, tell you a little story, taking my son. He just graduated law school. He took a job up in Alaska. So my wife and I took him up there. Then we spent a week going around Anchorage, Homer, Seward, all those places. You could watch Alaska on YouTube, on videos, 24 hours a day. And until you go there and you actually live it, you never understand Alaska. It's the same way with anything in life. You could watch it on TV, but unless you are there, because half of the experience is the feeling that you get from those experiences. The TV can't show you the feelings. I could explain, somebody asked me how my trip was. I was like, I can't really explain it to you. You have to be there. So what I'm saying is, you got to go out and do things. And when we were on that vacation, if you're going to go somewhere like that, if I was fat, out of shape, smoking, couldn't do anything, I'd have missed out on 70% of the trip because we hiked. We went to see different things all over the place. We were always moving. So you got to be in shape. This is the one I love right now. Shoulders. Ooh, baby. The flies here. This brings out the veins when you're doing it. I'm telling you, if it's too much weight for you, because this 15 pounds are going to start to really get heavy when you get to this part. If you're not used to it, I don't want to see you quit. Go to a lighter weight. As long as you get the 1,000 in, that's all that matters. And if you need to take a break for a second, just stop, take a break, get your breath, then hit it again. Just remember, nobody else is doing this. Like I said, get in the line of the hard things to do because it's very short, and that's where all of the success is. If you see a big long line somewhere, stay away from it because that's the easy, average, mediocre path that 95% of the population is on. Look for the short line, the hardest things to do. That's where all the reward is. Because if you're splitting up, like I said, if you're splitting up $100 amongst 100 people, everybody gets $1. If you're splitting $100 up against 4 people, and one person's winning, because there can only be one winner. In life, I hate this whole crap where everybody's a winner. No, you're not. It's got to be. You might lose at one thing, but then maybe you win at another. This can come down to the amount of work and effort you put into it. And every day that you put your physical fitness off is one day you're falling behind. You know, there's only one person that ultimately that you're competing with, and that's yourself. It's the man that you see or woman you see in the mirror every day. That is not only that the person you're competing against, but it's also the hardest person to compete against. We're going down with the chest. Like I said, I use a little bit heavier weight for the chest. Come in with me. Together presses. 50. By this point, you're going to feel it. When you're done, oh my gosh. I hope you're staying with me, whoever's on here. I really appreciate it. But you watch. If there are people, in a couple weeks here, I just need some people to start to do this, to get some results. And there's no fee here. There's no cost. I'm not selling anything. All I want to do is see people, especially overweight people, get back into shape. Because it's not necessarily just for you, for my selfishness about it. It's for your kids. I coach soccer, and I've been coaching soccer for almost 30 years. And I see these kids that come to practice with these obese parents. They're 8, 9, 10 years old. Those parents aren't going to be there. I had one parent who never took care of himself, for about 350 pounds. 3 of the best soccer players I've ever seen. They're like age 12, 10, and 6. Almost died because of his weight. And he's going to leave those kids for somebody else to raise. Get your ass in shape, man. If it's not for you, do it for somebody else. Okay, now we got the back. Final one for the back. Together, separate. And we're doing 50. These are 15 pounders. You're really going to feel this one on your back. Oh, you're going to feel it everywhere at this point in time. That one. We're at 6. We're 800 right now. 800 reps. 200 more to go. He said, if you could stick with me the whole time, even if there's just 1, 2, 3 of you, the one that can actually has the willpower to do this instead of just scrolling all day long. Take 40 minutes out of your mornings and just go for it. And if you're watching the recording and you don't want to hear me talk, put it on mute and just listen to some music. I like to talk about this stuff. I talk about it in my career readiness class all the time, in my lectures, in my sports management, because the super skill that's coming forward from what I believe is the ultimate skill, the superpower moving forward is going to be your interpersonal skills. If you're able to talk to people, if you're able to be organized, disciplined, dedicated, confidence, all those things, that's the superpower, because AI can't do that stuff. So the people that are left, that is going to be that interaction. We can have all the computer systems and AI we want in the world, but we need people as humans to be able to talk and communicate with. So the service industry is going to be super. You don't even need a college degree for that. You just need a personality. Russian twists, and then the legs. You're working with me? You got this. That one was a crusher. I wish I would have. I told you I had 5 back surgeries over my life, but the last 15 years, it was like almost like every 2 years, 3 years, I was getting another one. And I think a big problem with that was I was a hockey player, and I was always fit and athletic, but I never really worked on my core much, so it was always leaving my back susceptible to injury. So, I mean, I feel like anybody, that's probably the worst place to work. I hate doing the ab stuff, but if you have a bad back, that's definitely where you want to be able to start. So for this last set for the legs, I intermix them, 25 squats, 25 calf raises. Do the squats first. 25 calf raises. Okay, we're down to the last 100. This is workout choice, whatever one you want. Say you got a body part that you really want to work on a little bit extra. I always use that last 100 to hit my arms again, my biceps and triceps. But whatever you want. If it's your chest you want to work on, if it's your shoulders you want to work on, your back, more on your abs, whatever it is. And if you're using light weights, you might say, well, this isn't very hard. I don't feel that tired. In the afternoon today, you're probably gonna need a nap. If you're not used to this, I've been doing this a while, but you are going, even with those light weights, if you're not used to moving, you're gonna be struggling later. But it's gonna feel good because you know you're ahead of everybody else and that you pushed yourself to do something. So let's go this last one. I've been using 15s. We're gonna do 50 with the 20s. So 50 more to go. I'm gonna do tricep extensions above my head. Guys, if you want to break this down into sets of 10 at this point, 5 sets of 10. I'm gonna do 50 with the right, 50 with the left. You do whatever you want here. Let's finish with that 1,000, okay? So when we're setting our goals, I want you to think about this right now. You know, what do you want? Ask yourself, what do you want in life? Then get a burning hatred for the position that you're in right now. And then believe that you already have it. Then that next step is you got to start to plan it. Plan it out. I always say that the goal is a result. Underneath that result, you have objectives. Underneath objectives, you have tasks. Weekly, monthly tasks, daily tasks, weekly tasks. That takes that big elephant of a goal and it breaks it down. So you have to do all these tasks to reach this objective, and that objective is one of the key parts. Some goals, some results may only take 3 objectives, getting up early, getting weights, the tasks, get your water, set this up, make time, all these things. If you break it all down into those little wee tasks, then you're going to see that ultimate result. So last one here. $25 there. Okay, last 25 on each side. Don't cut it short. Last 25. There we go. 1,000. Hopefully you stuck with me. Remember, we talked about goal setting today. What do you want? What do you want out of life? What do you hate? Believe that you can have it. I want you to dream it. I want you to think of it. I want you to look at pictures, all that stuff. Okay? Then I want you to plan it. Okay? And overall, all it takes is a belief in action, action, action every single day. In your body action, in your career action, in your relationships action. I am not a relationship expert by any means. Even though I've been married for 30 years, I have 3 very successful kids. But obviously I could always do better there. But in fitness, I know a few things, but I've been injured so many damn times that it's really hurt. So with that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this today. And I'll see you again on Thursday morning, Friday morning. I'm going to be doing this I don't care if there's even anybody here, if you want to watch, whatever. These will all be recorded. This is for me. Like I said, if you don't have self-love, nothing else matters. So go do the best you can do for you and then share that with the world. Take care, everybody.